There won't be a loss of abortion access. There might be restrictions in some states, but there's going to be plenty of opportunities for everyone that wants one.
That is Sean Hannity making what is being presented as a prediction of what the legal status quo for abortion rights will be following the death of Roe v. Wade. That's not actually what he was doing there. What he was doing is what many in right-wing media were doing, trying to lull everyone into a sense of complacency and apathy as the right wing scaled back rights that people depend on, sometimes with the stakes being their very life or reproductive future. And I want to give people an update on a story that is a perfect instance of that. We've been talking about this case for a few days now of Kate Cox, a woman in Texas who has been fighting a legal battle to be allowed to be one who fits under the legal exemptions of the Texas anti-abortion laws, because her fetus was diagnosed with a fatal condition, and being forced to continue with the pregnancy could risk her life and also potentially stop her from having children in the future. Well, after previously being granted an exemption by a judge, the Texas Supreme Court yesterday overturned a lower court order allowing the abortion. And so she had been granted one of the very few that was granted a medical exemption, and then that was taken away. And we're gonna give you more details on her plight and what she's doing about it. But I just wanna remind everyone that every single time you get told, oh, don't worry, there are exceptions, this is what they're worth. They are not actual exceptions. They are not actual like avenues for empathy in these emergency cases. No, they are branding exercises by a right wing that knows that people do not support their views on these topics. So to get them sold, they have to include some exceptions that the right wing doesn't actually care about and has no interest in actually extending to anyone. And so Kate Cox has regrettably found out how much those exceptions are actually worth. And so we're gonna get to more of the updates here, but Rayyvana, I wanna give you a chance to jump in. What do you make of this?
I mean, it's absolutely devastating. And I think that this just totally flies in the face of what Republicans say that they're fighting for when it comes to restricting abortion, which is to protect life and to save the family. In fact, the Texas Supreme Court in its ruling, it pretty much says that that's not the purpose of these laws. This is a policy decision just to simply restrict abortion, because if the spirit of the law was actually to protect life and to protect the family, then this would clearly be an example where abortion would be excusable even under the law, because there's no life at risk. The fetus is not viable, but there is the potential that if she's forced to carry this unviable fetus to term, she will fully lose the ability to get pregnant in the future, which she wants to do. She wants to have more kids. So by saying, in this case, we're gonna force you to lose your ability to have children. Thankfully, she's going to go to another state and be able to get the procedure done, because not everywhere in this country is as regressive and horrific as the state of Texas. But so it's completely, again, flying in the face of what they claim this is about. This isn't about protecting life. This isn't about, this isn't about protecting the family. This is about restricting abortion and restricting bodily autonomy. That's it, plain and simple.
100%, yeah. And so as you alluded to, yesterday, the lawyers for Kate Cox announced that she has now been forced to, because of this new Supreme Court ruling, Texas Supreme Court ruling, to seek an abortion in a state where it is legal. And that is, for some who have the resources and the time, at least something. It is a reminder that although Texas has become basically a barren, blasted wasteland, a Christian nationalist apocalyptic state, there is still civilization near it in some cases. And so you can leave that willful hellscape to go to a place that still has respect for humans that don't happen to be straight, white Christian males. And so that is something, but it is unfortunately not an avenue that's open to a lot of people. It does take a certain degree of freedom, of money, and reminder that many states are trying to stop even that, even the escape to a place that still has civilization. They're trying to outlaw that as well. So perhaps in the future, Texas will join those other states in making it so that Kate Cox would not even be safe to leave to go to a place that considers her to be a full-on human. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed out that this is not an avenue that's available to a lot of people. Most people can't afford to travel outside of their state, or even in some states it requires follow-up appointments to be able to get an abortion, even medication abortion. So they'd have to go for multiple days, which is extremely expensive and just not possible for individuals who have hard, arduous work schedules, which a lot of Americans do have. And it's totally, entirely despicable. And, this is a woman who has children, wants more children. This isn't, the stereotype of what Republicans pretend people seeking abortion are. This is someone who wanted to carry that fetus to term and has to go through the unimaginable pain of losing the fetus. And the state of Texas wanted to force her to have to give birth to, and in the process of doing so, lose her ability to have future children to an unviable dead fetus. It is entirely repulsive, despicable, and completely negates the term pro-life.
Yeah, and like, I obviously all of this is just religious dogma. This is religious dogma from small-minded Christian zealots standing in for actual political theory, medical ethics, all of that. That's all it is. But even if that's what it's going to be, can you imagine what Jesus would do were he to come down and see that this is how they are advancing his cause? He would bitch slap every single one of these pathetic, broken men who have ruined right-wing media and politics, who can only feel a brief bit of ephemeral strength by restricting the rights of women and other people who can get pregnant. Unfortunately, that will never happen. I'm an atheist. I don't think it's possible, but I kind of wish that I could have faith so I could at least think that maybe I could see that.